So finally, tomorrow is the PlayStation 5 Future of Gaming event on June the 11th at 1 p.m. Pacific. Myself and Nate from the Nate the Hate Show will be live streaming it tomorrow, so come and check that out. But today I'm going to discuss what I think will be revealed at the show tomorrow, and this is based on information that I've been reading, rumors, maybe a little bit of fanboying as well. So the first thing I want to say is Sony shows get really hyped up. Like, the hype for these Sony type shows are absolutely off the charts, and normally they're a little disappointing. If you go back and look at previous E3s and previous Sony reveal events, they've always kind of been a bit of a mixed bag in my opinion, but this one seems different. The hype for this one is massive, and I do think that Sony is really going to come out swinging, and they're going to really hit us with some really big announcements. This is the first of a few shows that are going to be happening over the summer from Sony. This one is obviously going to focus on games, and I think we're going to see a lot of first-party announcements. Some third-party stuff will be in this as well, and I think Sony really knows that in order to get people excited about the PlayStation 5, they have to come out with some heavy hitters, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do. So I think, opening the show, I would expect to see a reveal trailer of a game, like a cold opening of a game trailer, and then that kind of transitions into gameplay. So I think for the first 10 minutes, we're going to see either one of two games. I would think that it's either going to be, my guess is Horizon Zero Dawn 2 by Guerrilla Games, and a lot of other people are suggesting that it could be Demon's Souls, but I think Horizon Zero Dawn 2, if you open up with that and then show some gameplay for 10 minutes or so, and then show the power of the PlayStation 5, show off the graphics, the way that the graphics look, maybe subliminally talk about the SSD and show off some loading screens or some transition scenes between cutscenes or something like that, and really just kind of show off the power of the PlayStation 5 without actually talking about it and get people excited about it while it's showing off some gameplay of the game. I think that's very compelling, and that's a real good way to get people excited about it. Now, of course, it may not be Horizon, it could be Demon's Souls, or it could be something else, but my pick is we'll see a first-party game, opening up the show and really get people excited about it. And then from there, I would think that we'll see Jim Ryan and or Mark Cerny come out on stage and talk about the PlayStation 5 hardware. Like I said, it will be in a limited capacity, but they're going to show you the console. We're finally going to get a look at what the system looks like, and it's not going to be a 3D render or anything like that. It's going to be the actual hardware, in a glass case or something like that, and it will really get us all excited about it. For months and months and months, we've been talking about what does the PlayStation 5 look like. We've seen all these faked images of the hardware, and everything from the absolute ridiculous to that may be legit, we don't know, but that's all going to end tomorrow because we're finally going to get a look at the hardware, which is quite exciting. From there, I think that we'll see some semblance of the user interface. I think they'll show some of the user interface to us. Again, this is not going to be a technical discussion, so I don't really anticipate much talk about the UI, but I do think that they'll show some features of the new user interface and maybe kind of walk us through the background loading of applications, the fast loading of games in the background, switching between games, things like that. Really just to show off the power of the PlayStation 5. I think, showing us a snappy user interface is something that I think a lot of the fans will really appreciate. And I guess, the other thing to talk about there is backward compatibility. If Jim Ryan comes out and says, look, you can bring your entire PS4 catalog over to the PS5, I think that's going to be enough for most people to really get excited about it. Remember, when the PlayStation 4 was announced, there was no easy path to the PlayStation 4 from the PS3 for obviously technical reasons, but this one's going to be different. I think, we'll definitely see some discussion there. Now, moving on, before I, get into more of the games, I don't think we're going to see a price. There's going to be no price here, and that's because of there's no reason to show a price at the moment. Sony and Microsoft have been at it, with this cat and mouse game pretty much for the entire year, and I think that the price will be revealed at the last possible time. So I don't expect it to be revealed at the moment. I would probably expect a price to come at a future event, potentially in August. I mean, it could be a while before we actually see the pricing around the systems. So I don't expect a price. And so, for those people that are thinking they're going to pre-order a PS5 tomorrow, let's take that off the table right now, because I don't think that's something that we'll see. VR is something that's also come up. I'm not really expecting to see anything from VR tomorrow. I think VR is a part of the PlayStation 5's plans, but again, that will probably come at a later event, maybe a VR only, bite-sized event that's like 30 minutes long that shows some new VR games and the hardware. But tomorrow, I don't really expect to see anything come from VR. Bluepoint will show Demon Souls. I expect to see the new Bluepoint game, which is heavily rumored to be Demon Souls, at this event, which is going to be awesome. And having that Souls game running on the PlayStation 5, I think, is really going to get a lot of people excited. Now, moving on to Gran Turismo. We've heard rumors about the Gran Turismo Sport running on the PlayStation 5 hardware. Yes, I expect to see an iteration of Gran Turismo Sport running, and there'll be a 10-minute demonstration of the game running on the PlayStation 5. I'm dubbing this game GT Sport Ultimate, so we'll see what they actually call it. And it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to really show off, maybe 120 hertz or ray tracing, 4K. It's going to be a stunning presentation with really amazing looking graphics. Silent Hill is a game that I wasn't initially expecting to be at this event, but the more that I've read into it, the more I've heard about it. I do expect to see Silent Hill at this show. It's basically a reboot of the series, so probably we'll see a trailer, maybe some gameplay of the new Silent Hill game, but certainly we'll see a trailer. And I guess, the question really is, how far along in development is this? Is this something that we'll see in 2021, or will this be part of the PlayStation launch plans later on this year? I would expect that we'll see a trailer and maybe, a quick glimpse of some of the gameplay, and a 2021 release date for Silent Hill. I've got like this image in my mind that, the lights dim and then the eerie Silent Hill music starts to play, and then they just kind of bring the game back. That would be a really cool reveal, and I think that would get fans of the game very, very excited. Ratchet & Clank, I think, is another game that will be shown. The next Ratchet & Clank game running on the PlayStation 5. I think fans of platformers will be very happy to see that. It's a fan favorite, and it's something that I would definitely expect to see at the PlayStation 5 reveal event tomorrow. And then, more third parties, Call of Duty Black Ops. I mean, Activision and Sony, these Call of Duty reveal events, they kind of go hand in hand with Sony right now. I mean, it seems like Call of Duty and Sony have been, have had this long-standing partnership. And I think that's going to continue tomorrow with a Call of Duty reveal tomorrow. It's, if you think about it, it's E3 week right now, and it should be E3 week. So I definitely expect to see, Call of Duty tomorrow with gameplay shown and really getting people excited about the next Call of Duty game. Ubisoft will have Watch Dogs Legion. I expect to see that. Ubisoft will have some presence at this show. They have their own event coming up, so I don't know if we'll see too much, but we'll definitely get a tease of maybe the next Watch Dogs game, and we'll see how that's coming along. Obviously, that's been kind of in development hell for quite a while now, but we'll definitely see, what's next there. And of course, we have Capcom. Now, I expect to see Resident Evil 8 shown off at this show, and I think we'll see some gameplay and a trailer of Resident Evil 8, which will show off the power of the PlayStation 5. And, I think this will be, a 5 to 7 minute presentation again. We'll get to see a lot of Resident Evil 8, which I think will be awesome. As a fan of the Resident Evil series, I'm looking forward to it. Now, another company that I haven't heard too much about is Media Molecule. I think we'll see the next iteration of Dreams running on the PlayStation 5. Dreams on the PS4 was interesting. A lot of praise for that, but it didn't necessarily sell too well. But I don't think that they've given up on Dreams. In fact, I think that Media Molecule has kind of doubled down on it and has got it running on the PlayStation 5, and we're going to see what that looks like. I think that's going to get people really excited about what can be done on the PlayStation 5 with Dreams. So yeah, I would expect to see Media Molecule, coming out on stage and really showing us what's next for the Dreams franchise, if you will. Now, another company that I expect to see at the show is Bandai Namco, and I've got this idea that we'll see the next Tekken game on the PlayStation 5. Tekken and Sony had this long-standing relationship, and I expect to see some iteration of the next Tekken game at this show. EA will have a presence at the show. I expect to see either Madden or a FIFA. If I was to guess, I would say FIFA 21 is probably going to get showcased at this event, maybe showing off the new engine that is running on the FIFA games. Now, to finish off the show, I would expect to see Spider-Man 2 with a 2021 launch date. And I think we'll see about 10 minutes of the new Spider-Man game being shown off, because it was something that, really started the PlayStation 5 discussion, years ago. If you recall, it was kind of demoed running on PlayStation 5 hardware, albeit, very, very much prototype hardware at the time. So I think, what better way to round out the show than show us Spider-Man 2, where things are at with that running on the PS5, showing some of the amazing visuals, the asset loading via the SSD, and again, just kind of subliminally showing off the power of the PlayStation 5 hardware, but not necessarily, boring you to death with technical details about it. I think that's a really cool way to round out the show. So, with a mix of first and third party titles, we're looking at about 10 to 12 games being shown. I think it's a pretty big show. I think if we see all those things, I'd be pretty happy, walking away from the PlayStation 5 event. And, I would say that if we do see those things show up tomorrow, then, Sony can really kind of rest easy knowing that they've basically just leapfrogged ahead of Microsoft at that point. And, the console wars are well and truly back on. But I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What are you expecting to see tomorrow? What would you like to see shown at the event tomorrow? So before I go, guys, a couple of things. I want to say that Nate from the Nate the Hate Show and myself did a prediction video on this over on his channel. We talked for about an hour or so, and it's really interesting to hear his take on the event and what he expects to see. So take a listen to that. I'll leave a link to that episode in the description below, and show Nate some love over on his channel as well. Hit him up with a sub or two. He could definitely use the help, and he'd really appreciate it. The other thing is, we're going to be live streaming the show tomorrow at 12:30 Pacific, 30 minutes before the show actually starts. So we'll be in there and listening to you guys talk in the chat and taking questions from the chat as well. So come and hang out. It's going to be a fun time. I'm looking forward to the show tomorrow. I think it's going to be hype, and I think this time the hype may be justified. So we'll see what it all plays out to be tomorrow, but I'm excited about the PlayStation 5 game reveal event, and I'm looking forward to your thoughts in the comments below. Well, guys, that will do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, you know what to do. Leave me a thumbs up, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye for now.